Good evening and welcome to the CaribQuest Media News Bulletin for today, Wednesday, September 18th in the year 2024. Broadcasting from Phillipsburg, St. Martin to the rest of the world, I am Tarana Granston with the news. Thank you for joining us. We begin by telling you island-wide power outage hits St. Martin again. A major power outage swept across the island today, leaving the entire country without electricity for several hours. The blackout, which occurred around 4:30 a.m., affected operations at the hospital, airport, and police, along with businesses, schools, and residents, causing widespread disruption. Utility company NVGB is currently investigating the cause of the outage, but during the Council of Ministers press conference, Minister of Raumi, Patrice Gums, said that initial assessments indicated that it was not a mechanical issue with the engines or newly purchased containerized generators.
Occurred this morning. So, at 4:30 this morning, the island experienced a total blackout. At that time in the morning, the load is at the lowest. Therefore, GBE is certain it has nothing to do with capacity. Based on the preliminary analysis of the data, it seems the instability is with the frequency. This resulted in the plant shutting down completely, including the new containerized engines as well. Between 8:30 and 9 a.m., all engines were back online. While bringing the engines online, the focus, of course, was on critical infrastructure, so the hospital, police station, airport, water plant, and the schools. And that is the update currently for now.
The outage caused significant challenges for essential services, with reports of interrupted water supply and communication systems such as 911 emergency services. Many residents turned to social media to express their frustration, while some businesses relied on backup generators to keep operations running. In a brief statement on its Facebook page, GB said, "Our technicians are diligently working to bring engines 14 and 15 online in Building 4. Gradually, cables are being restored. The hospital, school districts, and other priority areas have been restored." This was followed by another notice a few hours later of load shedding being implemented. GB was quoted as saying several areas will be affected for a period of 1 to 2 hours. As of late afternoon, power had been restored in some parts of the island, but full restoration is expected to take several hours. GB has promised further updates and has encouraged residents to stay informed through official channels. This is the second major outage to hit St. Martin this year. The first was in June 2024, raising concerns about the reliability of the island's power grid. Local businesses and residents are calling for long-term solutions to improve the island's energy infrastructure and escape their daily load shedding woes. In response to ongoing load shedding issues, 7 containerized engines with a total capacity of 10 megawatts arrived on the island on July 15th. At the time, Prime Minister Dr. Luke Mercelina expressed optimism, noting that the arrival of the generators marked a hopeful step forward. On August 13, GB commissioned these generators, adding 10 megawatts to the island's power grid. Additionally, the company announced on September 12 that a 20-megawatt rent-to-own containerized power plant is scheduled to arrive in October, promising a significant boost to St. Martin's energy capacity. Coincidentally, the Prime Minister, who has responsibility for the energy sector, returned to Parliament today to answer questions that were posed in a Central Committee meeting of August 30th on the island's energy crisis. He reiterated that NVGB will not be passing on these costs to consumers. Man found dead on Maho Beach. Police suspect natural causes. A man was found dead on the Maho Beach on the evening of September 17th, sparking an immediate response from local authorities and bystanders. According to reports on the St. Martin Police Force, CAPSM, Central Dispatch received several emergency calls around 6 p.m. on Tuesday, alerting them to an unresponsive male lying along Rhine Road. Upon arrival, the police and ambulance personnel found several individuals attempting to perform CPR on the man. Emergency medical teams took over resuscitation efforts, but despite working for over 30 minutes, they were unable to revive him. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Forensic personnel and a doctor later arrived and, based on initial findings, suggested that the man likely passed away from natural causes. However, an official investigation into the exact cause of death is ongoing, though authorities have stated that no foul play is suspected at this time. The police force is expressing condolences to the victim's family, and further updates will be provided on the investigation. Still on the police blotter, police investigating shooting incident in St. Peter's. A shooting incident that occurred on Tuesday at approximately 6:30 p.m. is being investigated by the police. The Central Dispatch received the report of a shooting in the St. Peter's area. Shortly after that, a male victim was brought to the St. Martin Medical Center with a gunshot wound to his leg. Preliminary investigations indicate that the shooting stemmed from an altercation between two brothers. During the dispute, one of the individuals involved reportedly produced a firearm and shot the other in the leg. Following the incident, detectives conducted a house search at the location where the altercation took place, and during the search, a rifle was found and confiscated by the police. In addition, a white vehicle believed to have been involved in the incident was also seized as part of the ongoing investigation. As the details surrounding the situation are still being clarified, investigators say they are actively gathering statements and evidence to determine the exact cause and circumstances of the shooting. They are asking for anyone with information to come forward. New power plant to be built in Curacao. Aqua Electra is building a new power plant in collaboration with Wärtsilä, which should be operational by the end of 2025. With this plant, Aqua Electra wants to improve the security of the power supply and be ready for the increasing demand for energy in Curacao. The new plant, which will be named Salu Power Plant, will have a capacity of 40 megawatts. This is crucial for the expansion of the power grid on the island, especially during peak hours when electricity demand is high. With the arrival of the plant, Aqua Electra expects to be able to offer a more stable energy supply to households and businesses without overloading machines, as was regularly the case in the past. Dutch budgets 80 million euros for Caribbean projects, 24 million to SXM for food security. The Dutch government is investing 80 million euros in projects that should stimulate the economic progress of the Caribbean islands, as shown by the financial documents published on Budget Day. Incidentally, this amount comes from the National Growth Fund, for which the Rutte 4 cabinet had originally pledged 130 million euros. 50 million of this amount has been written off, as a result of which the islands no longer will receive this amount. The remaining 80 million is now transferred to the budget of Kingdom Relations. Of that 80 million euros, 40 million will be invested in the construction of the new port on Sable, and 16 million in improving the road network on Bonaire. According to the Ministry of the Interior and Kingdom Relations, both projects contribute to the economic self-sufficiency of the islands and give a boost to important sectors such as tourism. In addition, 24 million euros will be reserved for the improvement of food supply on Aruba, Curacao, St. Martin, Bonaire, St. Eustatius, and Sable, which should reduce dependence on food imports from abroad in the long term. Vromi assesses trench cleaning, announces three-step plan for infrastructure enhancement. The Minister of Vromi, Patrice Gums, undertook several visits this week to oversee ongoing work on the cleaning of trenches. The contracts were awarded to two companies with work beginning on September 1st. Gums, along with his policy advisor Luciano Nichols, visited works in Phillipsburg, Sucker Garden, Ebenezer, and Cold Bay. noting significant improvement in water flow, hygiene, and in many places, the overall appearance of neighborhoods. The trench cleaning forms part of a ministerial wider plan to clean up and enhance the environment, with trench cleaning forming step one of the plan and work slated to begin on trenches in the Dutch Quarter area by the end of this week. The ministry indicated that the next phase will be the execution of controls on wrecked vehicles, garbage, and illegal dumping. Trench cleaning has exposed a large amount of illegal dumping and pollution in trenches, the Ministry of Vromi said. And the Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Veronica Janssen Webster, today refuted claims that she had closed the HAP, instead stating that SZV closed the facility following the findings of an audit that revealed financial irregularities.
After receiving the report from this evaluation committee, SZV proceeded to issue the notice of termination of the HAP. After the notice was sent, I was informed of the letter that was sent. In good faith, I extended the HAP's contract by 3 months back in June, hoping they would rectify the issues. Furthermore, I initiated the evaluation and received the recommendations on September 3rd. The evaluation revealed serious concerns, some of which I can mention. There was no clear distinction between after hours GP services, so the HAP, and regular St. Martin Diagnostic Center services. There were reportedly no significant decreases observed in emergency numbers at St. Martin Medical Center. There was no liability insurance at St. Martin Diagnostic Center, which presents a significant risk not only for our community, but especially for our fragile tourism industry with tourists frequenting the establishment. There were no internal protocols for triage, so for determining the urgency of medical cases. The inconsistency of prescriptions and billing from St. Martin Diagnostic Center and the HAP raised further red flags. It could not be determined through which company SZV was being billed. There are many other critical issues that could have been addressed by the HAP, the operators of the HAP, in between June and now. But I must say that despite St. Martin Diagnostic Centers and the MP's claims, the data received by the committee do not support that the HAP has significantly reduced the burden on the emergency room. Even with 7,000 persons using the services, 83% of whom were covered under SZV, the number still did not show a substantial impact on emergencies, which shows that the evaluation points more in the direction of us perhaps having to explore options to extend regular GP hours. It is again unfortunate that politics seems to be played with an issue as sensitive as this. In his statement, the former minister suggests that the closure of the HAP could lead to a public health crisis. Let me be clear, allowing the HAP to continue operating in the manner it was would continue to cut deeply into our healthcare budget, ultimately undermine the quality of care that our citizens deserve. Irresponsible management of public health funds is more likely to lead to a public health crisis than an operation that fails to meet critical standards. You can stand here today and politicize as well. I can show you emails that were sent to me by the doctor following our June 18th meeting, threatening to go to the media if I decide to close the HAP, followed by an apology. The doctor and the former Minister of Health, the current MP, also hosted a radio program together 3 days before elections, in which they indicated that I was closing the HAP and a vote for me would be a vote for the closure of the HAP. This radio appearance was also followed by another apology from the doctor. I will reiterate that the contract is between SZV and the HAP. At no time did I close the HAP. We believe in the value of a well-functioning HAP, and we know it is needed in certain matters, but it must meet its obligations and operate within the agreed-upon standards. We cannot tolerate mismanagement at the expense of public health. Thank you.
Boost your business with CaribQuest Media. Hey, business owners, are you tired of your amazing business being the best kept secret? Do you want your brand to shine brighter than the Caribbean sun? Look no further. CaribQuest Media is here to put your business on the map. Why us? Because we're cooler than a coconut. Our ads are as refreshing as a beach cocktail, eye-catching and unforgettable. Reach the stars. Okay, maybe not the actual stars, but our audience reach is stellar. No need to break the piggy bank. Our rates are so good, even your wallet will do a happy dance. Get started now. Join the coolest, quirkiest, and most effective advertising platform in the Caribbean. CaribQuest Media, where your business becomes everyone's favorite tune. Contact us before we get too famous. CaribQuest Media, turning brands into island legends. P.S. Your competitors already called. Don't let them have all the fun.
LNA Glamour Photo. Just check us out at lnaglamourphoto.com for more information.
Excellence isn't just about reaching the top, it's about the journey that takes you there. At Enterprise Elevator Services, we redefine vertical transportation with innovation, precision, and unparalleled safety. Whether it's a skyscraper or a boutique building, we elevate your experience every step of the way. Contact us and ask about our customized maintenance and installation solutions. Enterprise Elevator Services, taking you higher safely.
Thanks for staying with us. And now for news-making headlines in the region. Health Minister of Trinidad and Tobago robbed at gunpoint. Trinidad's Health Minister Terence Dale Singh has confirmed that he was robbed by two gunmen on Tuesday in his constituency in St. Joseph along the east-west corridor. In a video posted on social media, Dale Singh said that he was in his constituency sitting near a church in, according to him, 5 o'clock hot sun with a constituent when two fellows walked up and put a gun to his head and robbed him of his bracelet, which is a traditional Indian-style gold bracelet. Dale Singh, who appeared unharmed, was also heard telling someone on the phone, "I am just letting you know where the crime has reached." This is according to CMC. In the video, police officers are seen driving away from the scene in a marked police vehicle. The police in Trinidad and Tobago have not yet issued a statement on the incident. And in Martinique, 6 police officers wounded by gunfire during a protest. At least 6 police officers were injured by gunfire during overnight protest in Martinique over the rising cost of living, officials are reporting. 2 suspects have been arrested. The unrest, which escalated Monday night, involved burning cars and tear gas as police clashed with demonstrators. A civilian was also injured by gunfire and hospitalized. Several stores were looted, prompting government officials to call for calm. Martinique has faced similar protests in recent years, often driven by grievances over economic, social, and racial inequality. In Saba, it secures extra funding contract award for Black Rocks Harbor expected within a month. After months of uncertainty, public entity Saba received positive news with the presentation of the 2025 budget. The central government of the Netherlands is providing additional funding for the construction of a hurricane-resistant and future-proof harbor on Saba. With this additional budget, the public entity Saba can soon award the construction contract. The tender for the construction of Black Rocks Harbor and the upgrade of Fort Bay Harbor began at the end of 2023, resulting in 2 bids from contractors in May of this year. However, both offers exceeded the available budget. At the end of May, PES informed the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management and the Ministry of the Interior and Kingdom Relations about the results of the tender and the budget gap. This initiated an intensive period in which stakeholders on Saba and in The Hague sought solutions to close the budget gap. The House of Representatives of the Netherlands also passed a motion urging the cabinet to engage in constructive and creative discussions to enable Saba to realize its harbor plans. Over in Curacao, justice organizations struggle with follow-up of recommendations of the Law Enforcement Council. Many justice organizations in Curacao are lagging behind in following the recommendations of the Council for Law Enforcement. This is evident from a recent follow-up study by the Council into the implementation of recommendations. The figures show that only a small number of organizations have fully implemented their recommendations, while most still have large backlogs. The survey shows that the Public Prosecution Service, or the followed the most recommendations with 73%, followed by the Training Institute for Law Enforcement and Security Care with 45%. On the other hand, Addiction Clinic, Brasami, ranks the lowest, with only 17% of the recommendations followed, and a large portion of 83% not followed. The bottlenecks identified by the Law Enforcement Council are mainly a shortage of staff and financial resources. In the case of Brasami, for example, more than 700,000 guilders in subsidies were cut between 2018 and 2021. This lack of resources hinders the organization from implementing the recommendations and improving its services. And with more news in the region, in Belize, ambulance driver charged with death by dangerous driving. More than a year after they were struck down by an ambulance and killed, police have charged the driver with 2 counts of manslaughter by negligence and 2 counts of causing death by careless conduct. Police said that the driver of the ambulance, Josh Barrias, had claimed that he did not notice a motorcycle in front of him at the time of the incident, which occurred in February of last year. The victims, Aurelio Alialia, age 41, and Joanna Somoza, age 21, were attempting to cross the Beaver Dam Bridge in St. Matthew's Village, Belize, an agricultural region, when the ambulance driver collided with the back of the motorcycle. The arrest and charges against Barrias come at a time when Belize is recording an alarming increase in the number of road traffic accidents, with the authorities saying several of these accidents have been caused by reckless or negligent drivers. So far this week, there have been 3 fatal accidents in southern and western Belize. And now over to Guyana. The police there have launched a probe into unauthorized pension and disability voucher books. Guyana's Ministry of Human Services has discovered a number of unauthorized copies of old age pension books and disability voucher books. The discovery was made after the vouchers were submitted for encashment at a number of post offices and other payment centers. The ministry said the unauthorized books do not bear the security features or colors of the official books, and the police have been called in to investigate the matter. The ministry said the full investigation will be conducted, and it has handed over all documents and materials in its possession with the unauthorized books to the Guyana Police Force. Staff members at post offices in the South American nation and other payment places are being asked to be on high alert for the unauthorized books. And finally, on today's regional news, NGO wants Guyanese prisoners to vote. The Bartica United Youth Development Group has written to the Guyana government and the opposition there, urging that prisoners be allowed to vote in elections in Guyana. All qualified persons, whether held under the presumption of innocence or after being convicted, pleaded guilty, sentenced to prison, held in any state custodian, are given the right to exercise their franchise at all lawful and constitutional elections and referendums held in Guyana. The organization's acting president, Kellyanne Leps, said in a letter dated September 17. The non-governmental organization said all individuals who are arrested, apprehended, detained, or held must be given the full opportunity to exercise their right to vote. The letter was sent to the President, Irfan Ali, and several members of his government, including the Attorney General, as well as the opposition leader, Aubrey Norton, and the leader of other political parties, along with the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission. The letter was also copied to the Guyana Human Rights Association.
This lady. Father, you know that we.
Looking to make your brand unforgettable? CaribQuest Media brings your story to life. From concept to screen, we create stunning audio-visual commercials that captivate your audience. Need a script that sells? Our talented writers craft compelling messages tailored just for you. And with our professional voiceover artists, your brand's voice will stand out loud and clear.
Whether you're launching a new product or refreshing your image, CaribQuest Media delivers. Call 1721-544-3200 or email us at caribquestmedia@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at CaribQuest Media or visit us at caribquestmedia.com and let's make magic together. CaribQuest Media, research, innovation, progress.
Attention readers. Heritage Tree Publishers is thrilled to announce 7 incredible new releases by acclaimed author Toriana Granston. Discover powerful stories of overcoming adversity as you dive into the pages of The Gift of Resilience. Delve into rich Caribbean culture with the short story anthology Coalpot Chronicles. Unleash your potential with the 5-fold mandate and journey into excellence with RIP Mediocrity. But wait, there's more. Toriana also brings you the Soul Harvest Daily Devotional to nourish your spirit and 2 delightful children's books that bring joy to young readers. Get your copy today at the Family Bookstore in Phillipsburg or Radio Maranatha in Marigot. Want to order at your convenience? Then visit Amazon.com and choose ebook or paperback formats or call 580-9335. That's 580-9335. For an affordable price, add these literary treasures to your collection or gift a friend. Remember, readers are leaders. Don't delay, get your copy today.
And now for news further afield. Walkie-talkies explode in Lebanon a day after deadly pager attack. At least 14 people are now dead and 450 injured from a walkie-talkie explosion in Lebanon earlier today, according to the country's health ministry. The walkie-talkies were detonated in a fresh wave of explosions one day after pager blasts across the country killed at least 12 people. CNN has learned that Tuesday's attack, which targeted militant group Hezbollah, was a joint operation between Israel's intelligence service, Mossad, and the Israeli army. The country's defense minister said Wednesday a new era in Israel's war effort is beginning, tacitly acknowledging Israel's role in the Hezbollah operation. Israeli officials also notified the U.S. that the country was going to carry out an operation in Lebanon on Tuesday, but did not give any details about what they were planning, according to sources. Hezbollah pledged to retaliate against Israel, and the Lebanese government condemned the attack as criminal Israeli aggression. Dozens of ambulance crews from the Lebanese Red Cross were working to rescue and evacuate those injured after the walkie-talkies exploded across the country. More than 30 teams of Lebanese Red Cross emergency medics were working in southern Lebanon, the central Bekaa Valley, and the southern suburbs of Beirut. An extra 50 ambulance crews were on alert in Mount Lebanon and Beirut to help with evacuation efforts. The deadly blast come just 24 hours after hundreds of pagers exploded, killing at least 12 people and injuring more than 2,800. The pagers used in a deadly attack in Lebanon on Tuesday were not manufactured in Hungary, despite reported links to a company based in the Central European country, a Hungarian government spokesman said on Wednesday. It comes after a Taiwanese company whose trademark appears on the pagers that exploded said the models used in Lebanon were designed and made by its distributor, BAC Consulting, based in Hungary's capital, Budapest. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed alarm at the 2 consecutive days of communications device explosions in Lebanon. He was quoted as saying, "Everything must be done to avoid an escalation." The UN chief said the logic of making all the devices explode was that of a preemptive strike before a major military operation. And still with international news, we tell you now that candidate attacks rival with a chair in Brazil mayoral debate. A mayoral debate in the Brazilian city of Sao Paulo turned ugly when one of the candidates attacked a rival with a chair. Video from the debate, broadcast live on Sunday by TV Cultura, shows a tense exchange between Jose Luis Datina and Pablo Marcal before Datina swings the chair at his counterpart. Datina later told TV Cultura that he had attacked Marcal, who required hospital treatment for his injuries because he had brought up all the sexual harassment allegations against Datina that were dismissed several years ago. Datina was expelled from the debate, but insisted in a statement that while he had made a mistake, he did not regret his actions. Hundreds of elephants to be killed for food in drought-ravaged Namibia and Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe and Namibia have announced plans to slaughter hundreds of wild elephants and other animals to feed hunger-stricken residents amid severe drought conditions in the southern African countries. Zimbabwe said it would allow the killing of 200 elephants so their meat can be distributed among communities in need, while in Namibia, the killing of more than 700 wild animals, including 83 elephants, is underway as part of a plan announced 3 weeks ago. Tinashe Ferraro, a spokesman for the Zimbabwe National Parks and Wildlife Management Authority, said permits will be issued in needy communities to hunt elephants, and the agency will also kill some of the 200 animals allotted. "We will start culling as soon as we have finished issuing our permits," he was quoted as saying. "Zimbabwe has more elephants than we need," a minister said. And in the US, President Joe Biden names Jamaica, Belize, Haiti, and the Bahamas as major drug transit points. In a recent announcement, US President Joe Biden designated Jamaica, Belize, Haiti, and the Bahamas as major drug transit countries, highlighting their critical role in the movement of illicit narcotics through the Caribbean. The designation is part of an annual report issued by the White House, which identifies countries that play a significant part in the global drug trade, either as producers, traffickers, or transit hubs. According to the report, these Caribbean nations are vital links in the drug trafficking routes used to transport illegal substances, particularly cocaine, from South America to North America and Europe. The geographic positioning of these countries makes them vulnerable to exploitation by international drug cartels seeking to smuggle narcotics through less monitored channels. And with that, we've come to the end of our CaribQuest Media News Bulletin for today. For more news, be sure to check us out at CaribQuestMedia.com. I'm Tarana Granson, thanking you for joining us. Please stay safe.